मैंने मीटिंग ओपन कर दिया है। तेजस को कौन सा
मेरी
अकाउंट
आवाज
डालना
आ
है?
रही है?
हाँ हाँ, आ रही है।
नहीं, उससे मॉडरेट करना होगा ना।
अरे ये
तो
भाई,
साइड बाय साइड कैसे होगा?
मॉडरेट
अम,
तेरे को दे
किसी
दूं क्या राइट्स?
सीटीएम के पास है अकाउंट आईडी? नहीं है क्या?
हाँ भाई।
अच्छा सुन, मेरी आवाज तो सही आ रही है ना?
हाँ, अभी तू लॉग इन कर लेना, क्या हो गया?
मैं साइड बाय साइड चैट वो नहीं देख पाऊंगा। किसी सेकंड ईयर के पास नहीं है क्या?
दे देते हैं ना, धनवित तू कर लेगा?
क्या करना है?
बस
मॉडरेशन
चैट
कौन अकाउंट से
मॉडरेट।
ज्वाइन करके बैठ जा।
हाँ ठीक है ठीक है, मतलब वही
कुछ
है ना, जो भी चैट में क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं उनको
हाँ
डॉक
हाँ
बना के देना है।
हाँ।
हाँ।
ठीक है, कर लो।
अम,
अब इसका होस्टिंग का तो कुछ और नहीं है ना, बस यही है ना?
नहीं, बस यही करके छोड़ दे।
हाँ,
ठीक है।
मतलब कुछ बकचोदी करे तो डिलीट कर देना बेटा। वैसे।
थोड़ा सा देख लेना।
एक मिनट, मुझे आई गेस कैमरा ऑफ करके रखना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो ये भी दिख जाएगा।
हाँ 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 हाँ, ऑफ कर दे।
ठीक है।
कौन सा अकाउंट से आ जाना।
क्या मेरा विथ वीडियो सही आ रहा है ऑडियो, या
हाँ
नेट चेंज कर दूँ?
हाँ, ठीक है। तू कहाँ बैठे है?
रमन।
मैं रमन में खाली जगह कैसे मिल गई तुझे?
भाई रमन खाली रहता है।
धनवित, मैंने तुझे स्लैक पे यूजर नेम पासवर्ड भेजा है। लॉग इन कर, उसके बाद तेरा एक्सेप्ट करते हैं। और अगर लॉग इन कर लेगा तो यूट्यूब पे भी खोल लियो, तेरा लाइक स्टूडियो वाली चीज है।
एक मिनट, ये किसका भेजा है?
ये भाई जी स्वीट का एक्सेस है, जी स्वीट का पासवर्ड।
स्क्रीनशॉट।
और भाई बैचेस को बोलो कि शेयरिंग शुरू कर दो लास्ट।
तेजस, आपने जो यूट्यूब का लिंक भेजा मुझे नहीं लगता लाइव है वो अभी।
एक सेकंड, मैंने तो लिंक नहीं भेजा, रुक जा मैं पूछता हूँ।
तो जय ने भेजा था।
क्या हुआ ऐसे? क्या हुआ, क्यों नहीं आएगा? हाँ, क्यों? हाँ, कौन सा पेपर है? क्या हुआ? कब से पेपर? अच्छा, चलो ठीक है, फिर पेपर के बाद डायरेक्ट आ जाना, ठीक है? हाँ, किट में जाना, वहां से डायरेक्ट आ जाना। ठीक।
गए भाई, खाना खा ले।
अच्छा 5:30 से 7 बोलते हैं।
हाँ।
ठीक है फिर। जीना बनता सनम। हेलो। हाँ खेलने आएंगे ना आज? आएंगे भाई, आएंगे। ठीक ठीक। रोहित क्या बोला? हाँ हाँ शायद आएंगे। शायद रुके रुके आएंगे ना। एक मिनट बस। हम लोग को टेस्ट है आज लीग टीम। कितने बजे से? हम लोग नहीं दे रहे। वो एक बार पूछ लो उसको, ठीक है? अच्छा ठीक है। हाँ कट ऑफ कॉल वो कर दे। ठीक है हाँ। हाँ बताइए। हॉस्टल। हाँ अभी आएंगे थोड़ी देर में चलेंगे। पैसे मारो तो पैसड़ी वाले मुझसे वो नहीं हो पाते हैं। नहीं 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 बस ठीक है। नहीं नहीं नहीं
वार्डन वार्डन नाम कर देता हूँ।
चलो ठीक।
Hi everyone, we'll start in like 5-10 minutes. So if any of your friends are joining, just let them know. Also, I'm sharing the YouTube live link. You can ask questions here or there. And if the meet is not working, you can work with that. So we'll start at 5:35. So please share the links to your friends if they want to join. Um, I shared the YouTube live stream link on the So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tejas. I'm an executive at Kharagpur Open Source Society. And today, I'm going to be presenting the intro seminar on Kharagpur Winter of Code. We are going to talk about the motive behind Kharagpur Winter of Code and why you should participate in it. We're going to talk about how projects are selected and how to select projects. We'll talk about the timeline, uh, the different dates on which evaluations will happen, coding periods, and we'll also talk about evaluation. So let's start with the motive. Before that, Kharagpur Open Source Society. We are a student-run society at IIT Kharagpur, and we believe in the spirit of open source. And everyone should know about it. Everyone should at least be aware of what open source is, and at least anyone who is interested in working on actual software and actual software development. So let's start with the motive of Kharagpur Winter of Code. The motive of starting this flagship event, which we conduct every year, is to introduce open source to the next generation, and also the opportunity to contribute to real code, real projects which are used by people. So a lot of you must have heard about GSOC, Google Summer of Code. So GSOC is an online international program that provides students an opportunity to work with enterprises with global grade software. So now KWoC is designed from the ground up to provide an experience similar to GSOC to everyone at KGP and any other college. Uh, and what you can think of it as a mock GSOC. So GSOC is a 12-week long program. And KWoC is a 4-week long program just to give an experience of how GSOC would be, how contributing in open source actually is like, how to talk to maintainers, how to contribute to actual production code, and how to communicate with people and collaborate on real projects. So you should be wondering about what are the prerequisites of participating in KWoC. First is the zeal for open source. Um, Open source is something that you should be passionate about. Um, Given you want to participate in KWoC, um, as this is in Kharagpur Winter of Code, there are open source projects, and if you are interested in open source, you'll probably find a lot of interesting projects to contribute to. Second is a passion for learning new things. Um, yeah. Second is a passion for learning new things. Throughout this program, you'll probably come across a lot of different things you have not worked with before, maybe some new framework, maybe some new technology, maybe even a new programming language. And you should have a passion for learning them, figuring things out while working on them, tinkering with different codes which you might maybe not know about, maybe not know about at first, but um, but eventually, given that you have a passion for learning, you will figure them out during the program. Um, Next is one thing which is a little necessary is the basic understanding of how Git and GitHub work. This is something. I mean, we have provided some resources to learn Git and GitHub, but Git and GitHub is something which is very talked about in today's times, and like there are so many resources on YouTube, different blogs, different demonstration of how Git and GitHub works. So that's something you should have a decent idea about. You don't have to know every single command. You don't have to memorize everything and how everything works. You just have to be able to pick things up enough. You know that what Git is, how Git works, and what GitHub is, and how GitHub works, and possibly the difference between Git and Git. Um, Another thing which you need is a little familiarity with any language of your choosing. It can maybe uh, it can be some front language which is mostly used in web-based projects, like maybe JavaScript, maybe something which is completely related to front end, maybe something very different like Rust and C++, Python, any language. You should have some level, like a decent level of familiarity with it. You don't need to be very good at it. You need to know every single library. Um, just having the uh, basic familiarity to see a code and maybe with some effort figure out what that code is about. That would be other things you can probably learn on your way. Some anti-prerequisites are department. This is not just for computer science department or software departments. It's for anyone and everyone in all colleges. If you have a passion for open source, if you think this is something which resonates with you, then you can participate in your course without any bias for department. There is no need for you to know a certain level of algorithm for CP. Even if you don't know any amount of algorithms in CP, that is fine. Uh, e- um, Even though it's not a prerequisite, some projects might require some very basic levels of knowing how data structures and maybe some algorithms work. But when you go through the projects, you will realize the algorithms and CP in general is something you will not need at all. Um, Also, I wanted to say you can type your questions here or on the YouTube live. At the end of this presentation, we are gonna take those questions. So yeah, DSA and CP are not at all required for this. Um, if you have a particular inhibition for algorithms and CP, you will find many projects which do not require that a lot. If you maybe like algorithms and CP, then you might also find some projects which are related to that. So it's up to your choosing. Now let's discuss the tentative timeline for KWoC. On 14th November, the mentor registration starts, which is today, and mentors can register from our website. On 20th November, the student registration will start, and on 5th December, which is I think 14 or 15 days after that, the coding period will start, and it will go on till 15th December, when the mentor registrations will close. And throughout the coding period, after the mentor registration is closed, then there will be mid evaluations on 25th December. Um, Mid evaluations will be on 25th December, and the end evaluation, when the coding period will end, will be on 10th January. And the report submission, uh, the deadline for report submission is 15th January, but the sooner would be the better. But the harder line is 15th January, and the results will tentatively be announced around 31st January. So now that the tentative deadline is clear, I'll just leave this on for a second. If you guys want to take a screenshot or something, you can. We'll share the slides after the in-person. But let's move on to seeing how maybe you should select the project. So one thing which will help you a lot is choosing a project with a language you are familiar with. The barrier for entry in that project, the amount of new things you'll have to learn in a very short time in the beginning, at least those will be less if it's a language you already have some familiarity with. You don't need to be an expert at the language, maybe just knowing some basic uh, things in that language, how loops work, maybe how functions work, and maybe the different caveats of the language. That's all you need. But if you choose a project in a language which you already know, the barrier of entry will be low. You find it a lot easier and doable, at least in the beginning. Uh, Another thing you should see when selecting a project is to choose a project that you are interested in, a project which maybe you might use in your daily life, or you think this is a project which other people need, might have some need in their life, and you want to contribute to them. So if you are working on a project which does not interest you, you will not give it a lot of time. You will to probably slack off, probably procrastinate because and why even contribute to the project? That if you're not interested in it, you're not gonna learn a lot of things. That you're not gonna willingly learn a lot of things. So make sure you choose a project which you have interest in. Try not to choose too many projects. You can choose multiple projects if you think you have the time to contribute to multiple projects, but um, make sure also in the middle you can like switch projects, but make sure you have established some communication with your mentor before you leave that project. Don't just ghost mentors or vice versa. Don't just ghost mentees. So, choose the amount of projects which probably you can handle. Don't stretch it to more than to the point you are delaying a lot of things you're assigned, and you're just probably getting burned out with so many different issues and different projects. Um, the complete understanding of a project is not required. If let's say you find a project and you understand maybe just some aspect of it. Acha, this is how it works. This is how I would set it up. This is how I might tinker with its front end. Even if you don't understand every single line, even if you don't understand a big chunk of it, that is fine. That's something you can probably pick up while working on a project. Honestly, you will pick up most of the details and learn most things while working on a project, not before it. So even if you think the project is something, just say files you don't understand, just a code you don't understand, even if you understand some part of it, that maybe this is how it works, even if you have some idea, that is fine. You don't have to know everything. You cannot know everything before starting. So now let's talk about the evaluation. What matters is the quality and the importance of your contribution and not the amount of code. So when the PRs are judged, we do not just sort them by number of lines trained. Um, it's important that the quality of the code you contribute and the amount of effort and thought you have put into that code and the importance of your contribution is taken into account. Just like you must have seen, just fixing one typo is not maybe not a very big contribution. Maybe it might be debatable, but make sure that the code you're contributing is something which makes lives of everyone easier. Pick up things which you find a little challenging, maybe not something very difficult, but pick things which you think you will learn from, which you also not have a complete idea to how to do this. Yeah, then sure. So another thing to know is the mentor decides your fate in KWoC. So make sure you have set up good communication with your mentor. Um, uh, this is one thing which is very important. I think, and a lot of people don't get a lot of exposure to this. Working with different people on a project. One thing people maybe underestimate is how important communication is. You need to be very thorough about how you're expressing your ideas. Um, if you are responding to them timely, if you're not ghosting them, um, if there is some genuine reason behind you not being able to, you may be delaying some work, you let the mentor know if you're facing some issues which you have tried enough to solve but you cannot solve, then you let your mentor know. Basically, keep your mentor in the loop always. You don't have to ping them for every small detail. If something is there which you can only handle, you don't have to keep bugging your mentor, but keep them in the loop where they know what you're doing, why you're doing something, where you're facing some problems or any suggestions you might need. There will be two evaluations, as I mentioned previously, the mid eval and the final and the end eval. We'll also share we'll also share the KWoC manual after this intro session. That has a lot more detailed uh, a lot more detailed content on how mid evals and then end evals will be in KWoC in general. To pass the mid evals, you must have at least one commit in the project support. That is the bare minimum for the mid eval. Again, make sure that your commits are meaningful and are not commits just for the sake of being commit. And one is the lower limit you can have, not more commits in different projects. And evals will involve your contribution and submission of the blog post describing your contribution and experience at KWoC. So what I would advise you is to, while going through KWoC, um, think about what you are contributing to, why you are contributing to the specific project, why are you taking some issues. These will help you want to choose issues which will help you and the project the most. And second, during the end evaluations, you'll have a lot clearer picture in mind of what you did for the last 4 weeks. Now, some information for the mentors as the last step has been for the people participating in KWoC, the people who will contribute. For the mentors, the criteria for project selection is to have two open issues in the repository. Again, more issues would be better, but two is the bare minimum. And having a proper review with uh, detailed description on how to contribute to the project, what the project is about, how to set it up locally, and how to contribute the contribution items. Also, what is required is to create and display the communication channels, maybe on Slack, Discord, or Twitter for your project. Don't use WhatsApp as it gets very unordered very quickly when more people are contributing to the same project. Try to stick to Discord or Slack and make sure that people can find the link easily, maybe in the description, maybe in the readme or somewhere else, where people can connect to you and talk to you. Another thing which is required is for you to help first-time contributors with any doubts regarding the code base related to technologies. One thing you have to be a little patient, at least in the starting, about is that a lot of people who are going to participate in this program are people who are probably going to contribute to open source for the first time. And patience is something that is required on both ends. Even if you're contributing to the project, you need some patience to maybe get over the learning curve, get over the initial hardships you might face. And patience is also required by mentors in helping the people who are contributing, solving some initial doubts, however easy they may be, guiding them through how to contribute to the code base, how to solve issues where they might be stuck, and in general, continuing conversation and continuing communication with the community. So now we'll move on to some frequently asked questions from past year. How do I get selected in KWoC? So there is no selection criteria. You just have to sign up on our website. You just have to start talking to the mentors and then start contributing. This is open for any college, any year. Anyone can contribute. How do I learn Git and GitHub? This is Kharagpur Open Source Society's GitHub workshop resources. We'll share the slides and the link after the in-person. This was basically a workshop conducted at IT Kharagpur, and these resources are from that workshop. Apart from these, GitHub has probably like hundreds of and thousands of resources online, on YouTube, on different blogs. If you don't find these something to your suiting, maybe you can look around and find resources which might suit you more. What programming language and tech stack is required to participate in KWoC? There is no specific programming language or tech stack. In different there will be different projects with very diverse set of tech stacks and different programming languages. Um, Unless your programming language of choosing is very niche, then maybe you might not find, and there's still a chance you might find. Um, but if your your chosen programming language and tech stack is decently popular. Even if it's not popular, you might find it in KWoC in some project, but there is no specific programming language. Let's say, anything with you. Who is the mentor and will they help you? Now, the mentor is the maintainer of the project. The mentor is the person who will guide you throughout your KWoC journey. Whenever you are stuck in a place where you're not able to solve an issue, whenever you're not sure which issue to solve, uh, whenever you are having some any specific doubt about the code base which you yourself cannot figure out, is you can ask them to your mentor. Uh, any sort of guidance you can ask from the mentor. Um, you don't continuously maybe pester them, but if there is something which is easily Googleable, easily found on the internet, maybe don't ask that. Check on Google once, look around once, look at Stack Overflow. If you cannot find them there, you can ask your mentor. Make sure to have uh, make sure to develop a good communication with your mentor, because again, given uh, as it said in this slide, the mentor decides your fate and give up. So, yeah. How much time in a day do I need to give to give up? Now, there is no specific amount of minimum time you need to give to KWoC every single day. That's something, again, it's not really a cut-to-cut competition. You can choose your own pace. Make sure you are still pushing yourself a little. Don't maybe slack off, because then you might fall behind. You might quit the program itself. You might think, ki, Acha, I've just been so far behind. What's the point in participating? So make sure to put in enough effort to maybe keep learning things throughout the program, but there is no requirement as per like you need to give in 1 hour or 2 hours. Um, yeah. Is this some kind of internship? No, this is not really an internship. This is more of a program where you contribute to open source. Uh, um, Basically, a program where you contribute to open source projects and learn along the way. It's not really an internship. We are not a company. We are not guys. We are just a college run, student run society. Will taking part in KOSS increase my chances for joining KOSS? This question is specifically for IT Kharagpur students, specifically in their first year, or maybe the ones who maybe will be joining next semester, after August. Um, by participating in KWoC, you'll learn a lot of things about open source, and as we are an open source society, um, knowing those things will help you when you try to join KOSS. So now let's discuss some tips and tricks that will help you during KWoC. One is again, I think I've probably repeated it quite a couple of times, but communicating with the mentor is a very important step. At every step, uh, keep your mentor in the loop. Let them know what you're doing, when you're facing some issues, what you're thinking of doing next, stuff like that. By doing this, even there will be no communication gap between the mentor and you. So things will be a lot more streamlined, less headache for the mentors, less headache for you. Before you ask very Googleable doubt, I would suggest that before asking honestly any doubt, you should first Google it and try to search it on the internet. Any bug, any sort of code issue you're facing, most probably you'll find it by Googling or on Stack Overflow. So first go through that, and if you cannot find an answer there, if you've tried enough and you cannot really solve the issue, then maybe contact your mentor, ask your mentor what to do. What you should do is to start small and choose the issues wisely. If possible, at the beginning, just ask your mentor to assign an issue. Uh, Given that you have talked to your mentor, he'll probably know where you stand and how much stuff you need to learn before solving a particular issue in the project. Just start with smaller issues. Get yourself familiarized with the code base. Um, and again, yeah, if possible, ask the mentor to assign an issue. Um, Again, the README is meant to be read before you start contributing to any project or asking your mentor about stuff. Try to go through the README and see if from that you can figure out if any of your doubts are being answered there. Now, these are the incentives for the top performance. All the students who successfully clear KWoC will be judged upon the following criteria: the number of the requests that have been made, the quality of contributions and pull requests, the blog they submit at the end event, and the mentor's feedback about the contribution. The top 10 performers will get special mention. So, I mean, this has gone for quite a while, and uh, I wouldn't want to watch an hour of presentation. So let's move on and let's see if there are any questions that you guys have. Questions you can put your questions in the Google Meet itself or on YouTube. Um, we'll compile the list and we'll answer your question. Yeah. So I know little of languages and I'm currently learning MI of it. So honestly, about learning different languages, you will always feel like you know a little about any programming language. Um, if you know even the basics, you will probably, given a little effort, understand how, at least for some projects, how they work. So what I would say is that, um, especially in open source and contributing to open source, think the don't think that I'll learn X things and then I'll start contributing. There will always be more to learn. There will always be some technology in the project that you will not know about. So it is better to instead of learning everything and then contributing, it's better to learn while you contribute. Given that you said you know a little of languages, I think, you'll be fine. You as this is a workshop to get you as this is a program to get you familiarized with how GSOC might work. So you will find projects whose issues might be on the easier side. So I think you should still start. Role of CP and DSA in open source contributions. Um, the perception of I think DSA and CP in open source contributions is very skewed. You don't really need to know a lot of algorithms in DSA. Actually you don't need to know any amount of CP for open source contribution. DSA is something you might come across during contributing to open source, although that's something that's very rare. Um, Unless you are looking for something related to DSM. But those will not be very difficult like code medium companies or hard questions. Those will mostly be basic implementations of maybe binary programming. Again, that's not very common. But what you should not do is not to uh, uh, exclude it entirely. If something related to DSA comes up, maybe don't think ki, "Acha, just because this is DSA, I'm not gonna do it." Be open to learning stuff while contributing to open source. Where can I see the list of projects to contribute? So currently the list of projects have not been out yet. Today is when mentor registration starts. The list of projects will be made public in a few days on our on KWoC. Any type of campus ambassador program in Kerala? Not really. This program is open for all. Um, um, as anyone from any college can contribute to in projects in KWoC. I don't think there's really a need for a campus ambassador program. You don't really need a lot of prerequisite to participate. You can just log in, find a project, start talking to them. Can I contribute to ML projects? Yeah, most probably there will be projects related to machine learning as it's such a hot topic right now. Um, I'm pretty sure you'll find a lot of projects related to ML that you can contribute to. Also, about the campus ambassador thing, um, even though there is no campus ambassador program, I would urge you guys to share it in your campus as much as possible. As more mentors and more students would be in a better community, you'll get to find better people and connect with better people through the program. Is this the selection procedure for course? Not really. This is not the selection procedure for course. The selection procedure for course will happen in second semester. This again is for IT connected students. Skills required to join the program. Again, we'll go back to this slide. These are the only prerequisites and skills you need. You need to be passionate about open source and learning new things. You just need to have a basic understanding of GitHub because that's something which will come up everywhere in every project. You need to be able to contribute your code, to actually push your code, know how commits work. But that's honestly not that difficult. And you need to have sound familiarity with any language of your choice. As such, for skills, it's up to you. Maybe if you're interested in front end, You'll find projects related to that. You're interested in backend, you'll find projects related to that. Machine learning, again, as someone said, you might even find projects on a Rust, something related to deployment and stuff, Docker and stuff. The projects will be very varied, and the skills again will be very varied. So you can come with any skill you have. There is no bar for it. Um, you don't need a specific amount of expertise in any skill. Just be passionate about learning things. You'll probably find your way through. Again, for course selections, if you have participated in KWoC, it is a plus point. So again, for IT students who might want to apply for course. When will we get updates for KWoC? You will receive regular updates from now on. Throughout the entire timelines I mentioned. One second, I'll just open it. Sorry. Throughout the timeline, we'll get regular updates on the Discord and Slack. We'll share the link of Discord and Slack. Make sure to join them. Any update will first be shared there. You can also follow our socials like Instagram, LinkedIn. Uh, would we need to stay at campus? No, this is an online program. You can participate from anywhere. Yes, this program. For updates about KWoC, I'm sharing the Discord invite link in the chat in Google Meet. Make sure you join that. Mostly the updates will be shared there the fastest. So be sure that you join the Discord. Can first year students can also join? Yeah, first year students can join. Anyone can join in this field. Your college does not matter. Your department does not matter. Which year you're in this matter. Registrations will start from 20th October, tentatively. Yeah. So in the starting, what you will do is, so basically this is like a simulation of research. Right? So first, you will find projects which you are interested in. You can find multiple projects, one project, anything you will. The project, you will approach the mentors, uh, the maintainers of that project, and establish some amount of communication with them, some back and forth. And after the coding period starts, you will start contributing to that project. Um, Throughout the coding period, you'll be solving issues, working with the mentors in fixing issues in that project, adding some functionalities, and any sort of contribution that is um, well accepted by the mentor. In the middle evaluations, I share the criteria for passing the mid evaluation. So there will be two evaluations for the mid evaluation, which will tentatively be on 25th December. Um, and that's right. So there will be two evaluations, and to pass the mid evaluation, you'll have to have at least one commit in the project, and to pass the end evaluation, you have, it involves multiple things. One is writing a blog. Second is your contributions to the project, and the third is uh, feedback from the mentor about you. So mostly that's how it's gonna be. Okay, guys. So this is the last round of questions. If you have any more questions, please let us know. Also, if you probably missed something or if you want something from the sides, the whole entire recording of this meet will be on our YouTube channel. I'll just add the link of the lightning also. It will be there after this meeting, so you can maybe look back. If you want something from the site, you can look back. Also, don't forget to join the Discord. All the updates will probably be first posted there. I'll send you. And thank you guys for joining in this session. Um, Make sure to follow our socials, and we'll keep you posted about everything in this timeline when the student registration starts and all. And thank you for coming. So I'll end the meeting.